obviously very pleased. It's a massive day for me and my family. You know, I'm glad it's been done so early in pre-season, and it's nice to, you know, just to settle now and just excited for the future. To, you know, top it off to win the league with 100 points was unbelievable, a massive achievement for the club, and it was just great to be a part of that and to share their memories with the fans. And that day, that parade was, you know, one of the best days of my life. You know, I think the next day was, you know, that little bit depressing, going back to the real world. And yeah, I think for us, the fans, it was so nice to experience that, especially after the year before when we got, you know, so close. But, you know, this felt a little bit better just because of that. And, you know, to win the league on the last day was just, you know, unbelievable. And, you know, here we are now. I was gutted to miss the last day, and, you know, to experience that game as a fan was different. Not being able to affect it on the pitch, it was, you know, felt, you know, very different. But to celebrate at full time and with the fans, you know, I can't really explain the feeling. And then, you know, next day we had the player awards, and then we had the open top bus parade. And yeah, that weekend was a blur, and, you know, I'd do anything to, you know, experience them moments again. We obviously been told there was going to be a plan for a certain amount of people, and I think it topped it by 4 times. And I don't think the police could believe how many people turned up in the end, and didn't think that many people actually lived in Leeds. So yeah, it was absolutely crazy experience, and I think even after it, I would have loved to just go around just one more time. It was a crazy experience, and you know, I just couldn't believe, you know, how many people were there. But for them, you know, to share, you know, their memories, you know, it's something that us as players and them as fans will never forget.
Here he is.
You know, it's back to working now. You know, we're in the Premier League now, and we know how tough it is, and it's about working towards our goal. It feels strange for me to say that I'm a senior pro, because, you know, I still feel really young. I think, you know, people still think I'm 18. Yeah, it does feel weird, but, you know, you do take a lot more responsibility. I think naturally I try to take more responsibility out on the pitch. You know, I let the people who want to do the talking in the change room, and, you know, I kind of try to lead by example on the pitch. But, you know, I think being a more senior player now, I have to give that experience to the players, you know, naturally, and, you know, be maybe a little bit of a louder voice. But I think as I've got older as a player, I've kind of drifted into that role naturally rather than it being, you know, forced. We want to establish ourselves as the Premier League team now, and, you know, we know how tough it is. But, you know, to have, you know, a little bit of experience in the squad makes us that little bit more to, you know, to push on. Absolutely delighted to extend my contract here. So yeah, it definitely feels at home. It's an amazing club, and, you know, I can't wait for the coming years. I've got a lot to give as a player, and, you know, hopefully, you know, we'll go on to bigger things.